Hello, everybody. My name is Jim Weimer. I'm the festival director of Out on Film. I'm very, very excited to be presenting our 37th annual film festival this week. We have some great films, some films I know you're going to enjoy. One of the films we're very, very excited about is Big Easy Queens, which premieres at Out on Film Saturday, October 5th at 7 p.m. at Landmark's Midtown Arts Cinema. We have some very special guests today from the film. I'm going to read a brief description, and then we're going to introduce our special guest. My glasses off to read this. Biggest Queens is 80 minutes of pure horror queer celebration with original music numbers, voodoo, zombies, drag queens, and campy delights soaked in blood, gristle, and glitter. In this glam horror righteous extravaganza, a battle for territory requires the Bouvèé sisters to set aside their differences to become the Big Easy Queens. Entirely made in Florida and set in the steamy underworld, Big Easy Queens follows Minnie Bouvèé, mob queen of the quarter, in a rivalry with her arch-nemesis, Poodles Makenzie. After Minnie has Poodles Mackenzie's crew brutally slaughtered, she braces for the blowback. What she doesn't expect, however, is to be stalked by a creepy masked figure who leaves behind bouquets of gardenias and terrifying notes. The film is so much fun. Our crew had such a fun time watching this. I want to welcome Eric Swanson, who plays Minnie, and we have Jennifer McKenzie, who plays Poodles.
McClain, Jennifer McClain
McClain.
plays Poodles
Mackenzie is the
Makenzie.
character.
I,
No,
I
it's close.
am
It's close.
I am so
It
I this
happens
is
all the time. That's so
no,
funny.
I am I'm sorry. I've done six of these today and I
Oh
can't read my
no,
I
No
am
no.
worries. I mean,
We're
it's
grateful
again,
for
it's
it.
very close. It's not. It's easy to confuse the two.
so I mean this is such a fun movie. How did you both come to this party?
Well, you are the host of this party, Eric. So
So I perform full time as Miss Bouvier and the cabaret circuit here in Wilton Manors and in Fort Lauderdale, and traveled a lot now. And Jennifer and I have been seen on the high seas together as a duo act called the Boozy Belters, and we were friends first. And I have a writer who I work with who just one crazy random night said, "You should do a movie." And we just thought that was the most outlandish suggestion that we'd ever heard. And lo and behold, 6 months later, we were funded and had a script, and we were going into pre-production. It just like, he manifested this beautiful opportunity for us and wrote each of these characters for people in our circle. And specifically, when we asked Jennifer, I'll let you say, Jennifer, what your terms and conditions were.
I said, if I'm going to do a movie, I want my character to be absolutely nothing like my personality, either as in private or my public persona. I wanted a role that was going to be completely like 180 degrees away from what people see me as. So.
And he did it. He wrote it and sent her little snippets, and she was loving it. I mean, who
Yeah,
doesn't love playing a little bit of a villain? I mean, that is,
I
Exactly.
mean,
every actor's dream.
This film is directed by Aaron Dalton, and it's such a joy because I mean, as I mentioned earlier, it's got camp and drag and murder and gore and musical numbers. I mean, can you all talk about this combination of so many fun elements in one little 80-minute package and how it works so well?
Oh, well, thank you. That's the brainchild of Robert, our screenplay
Yeah.
writer, and Aaron, who directed the movie and really oversaw just a lot of the conceptualizing of it. But the music, I have to thank Jennifer for, because she's been longtime friends with our composer Adam
Mhm.
Tilford, and I said, I kind of want to throw some music into this. I'm known as a live singing drag queen here and around, and it was important to me to have a consistency in that brand in the film. And she sent me this clip
well, you said, being as we're an independent film, we needed music that had no copyright restrictions to it.
yeah, that we owned and didn't have licensing and issues like
And
that.
and Eric was like, "Well, this is the kind of feel that I want for the music, and this is what I'm thinking." And I thought, my friend Adam Tilford wrote this song, and he randomly gave it to me and said, "I'm not doing anything with it." And I said, let me play this for you and tell me what you think. And like that, Eric is like, that's it. And then reached out to Adam directly.
And that was Influence of You, which is the last song in the movie. Under the Influence of You is the final song. That's the song she played for me that he wrote like a decade ago. And the rest is history. We just worked so easily together. And, he was really part of our storyboarding and knew what we had to do in the certain moments. And then Jeffrey Short, who did all the incidental music, all of the orchestrations, is a local as well, and just like had a great time doing it and being creative with it. I mean, when you're doing an indie film, you don't necessarily want to reinvent the wheel. We know what works and what doesn't, but we also want to be forward thinking. And Aaron kind of let us all do that, let us be in our avenues.
You can tell how much fun you all are having just by watching the film. I imagine this was just a hoot to make. But what I am interested in, because obviously you mentioned, the script. I mean, was there a lot of room for improvisation of the script, or was the script pretty much tight, or was there room for you to add your own touches?
She's laughing because there's
they did not give me a lot of room for improvisation because
Okay.
I am known famously for stage productions of give me an inch and I will take a mile.
She is the Tim
so
Conway. She is the Tim Conway of theater, and she can make any of us just lose.
I just love I live to like buzz people up on stage, but obviously film is a completely different medium.
Mm.
So at least for my scenes, we were all like it was just the script. It was
Yeah.
there was very little I think there was a few before we actually got on set, there were a few things that we added and that were funnier, you know, that were actually like happening in real life that we kind of added into
Situational stuff.
the lines.
The
But
voodoo scene,
once the cameras were rolling, it was
as
at
is.
least for me.
The voodoo scene for me, and Alex, Giuseppe, and Mimi, that was all improvised. And they told us it was not going to have audio. And so we were just making fools of ourselves. And as it turns out, they liked the audio that the camera did pick up on the red camera. And it made it into the film. But that whole, the script literally just said voodoo sequence. And we had to like kind of figure out how can we make this funny? How can we, and so it was probably a 6 hour, half the day for that. We just sat around this table, and Nicole, who did all the set dressing, really did some cool things that were like about protection. And she really
Mhm.
researched like next level stuff, but we improvised that whole scene. All the words you were hearing is completely improvised.
Wow.
So we had a little fun there, but Robert is such a great writer that you can't, and for the most part, with the way he writes, the sort of noir kind of feel, if you break from that, it's very obvious that you've broken from it. You have to kind of get in that rhythm, and of course, being Southern, there's
Yeah.
another layer of the beat you have to hit. So we couldn't really go kind of too crazy.
Gotcha. I
Yeah.
want to ask you about your characters. Eric, tell us about Minnie and
Minnie.
what all the character is going through throughout the course of this film.
Well, I wanted to show Minnie and as a queer, powerful leader who is smart and sexy and is comfortable in her skin, and is business savvy. But I think at the end, she's just the most protective of her people, and it's what allows her to open her heart back up to her sister after an estranged, 20 years or whatever, and she's I think she's mama bear in a lot of ways. And I love carrying out that persona.
Okay, great. Jennifer, tell us about Poodles.
Well, Poodles thought she knew the story. She thought that they had an understanding and that they were going to be like, we're rivals, but we do it the right way. And then things change. And then she gets mad. And then she turns into somebody you don't want to mess with. And yeah, so Poodles is a lot of fun. when I first got the script, I was kind of looking at it like almost like the old like the gumshoe, like the detective, like, oh yeah, put the rabbit in the oven. Oh, don't look at the oven. There's the rabbit, you know. And then Aaron came on board, and honestly, the um first time I read the script, it was not a voodoo zombie creepy story. I mean, it was a mystery, like a you know just a film noir, like. And then Erin came on board, and because her background is horror, everything changed. All of a sudden, I was like, wait a minute, what zombie? What? It just and everything changed, and I thought, and I had a rehearsal with her and with Ben, who plays Mimi, and I said my lines, and Erin said, okay, now make it creepier. Oh, and that was it, and that was off to the races after that. So
Yeah, Erin's kind of a horror freak.
Yeah.
Which to look at her, I just like I don't see it, but when she watches a horror movie, she just becomes a total geek over it, and she loves anything horror. And it was beautiful that our film was ready just in time for Popcorn Frights, which was our world premiere, which is right here. It's right in Fort Lauderdale. So we got to premiere where we filmed. We got to have our people, and many of the business owners of the places we filmed got to come and be part of that like red carpet moment, and have a queer film come out of a city that is aiming to be so inclusive, and love wins, and especially in like Wilton Manors. It
Yeah.
was really kind of cool. It set the tone for what would be our next year of festivals. I think it was nice.
That's great. There's such an ease among the cast. I mean, it feels like, I mean, did all of you know each other beforehand, or were there you can tell. It just
Yeah.
feels like ease with all of you and comfort.
Oh, that's I'm so you're the first person to say that. That's that we all are friends. I mean, we knew each other. We didn't really plan on everybody who's in the film being in the film. It really like the stars aligned to get the people we wanted that were available here. Varla Jeffrey performs everywhere. He's in residence in P Town, and he takes his show on tour. And we literally had him for like the 10 days he was here.
Yeah.
It just happened to be that way. And so we got lightning in a bottle, I think, with the cast and the timing, and we filmed in 10 days. And we got the whole film done in 10 days, 10 very long days. But
yeah.
we did it. And then took the 8 months for editing and post and things like that. But it was a miracle. It was a miracle.
Great. I have not, I mean, I've watched this some on my big screen computer, but I've not seen it on the big screen, and I'm looking forward to it. What's it like seeing this film, on the big screen with a loud, raucous, appreciative audience?
It's fun. It's
Yeah.
really, really fun. Uh, the first time I saw it was at our premiere, which was,
Mhm.
as Eric said, a hometown audience, and just really fun. But I think for for whatever reason, for me, when we showed it at the Tampa Film Festival, there was something about the audience, and that it was in this old, beautiful, like majestic theater, and
Mhm.
we had opened the show. We did a real short little cabaret moment with Eric, with me, and with Susie Toot, who Ben Shavitz, who plays Mimi, and we did that, and then we sat in the back, and just their reactions were just fun. Like we said we were going to play a drinking game, and anytime they laughed at one of our lines, we had to take a sip of our drink, and we only had one drink apiece. So by the first 10 minutes, we were done.
We're done. It was nice to like see people come. That was the first one I think we saw like callbacks. It
Yeah,
was reminiscent of Rocky Horror Picture Show,
Yeah.
where these audiences are sort of researching the film, and kind of getting in that they're getting in that space that you
they're
get
really
when you
vocally
go to.
reacting to stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, or like you hear the word gardenias and you hear drink, like they're just doing these little games with the film, which we could not have asked for anything better to be associated with that film, and not feel like we were trying to recreate that, but be in that family. We're like proud to be amongst that. Hopefully one day we're 25 years from now, or celebrating some sort of anniversary of it,
That's great. Now, this was filmed entirely in Florida?
Yeah, entirely in Florida. We wanted to do New Orleans so bad, which it has my heart, is just half of who Miss Bouvier is, and Varla too. And we had all the kinds of plans, but as with indie films goes, it's a budget constraint, and you can spend 25,000 on travel, or you can spend 25,000 on post and PR, and you kind of have to figure it out and spend your money where you're going to get the most bang. So we decided to stay. It doesn't We have a lot of places that look a lot like New Orleans, particularly with the sort of that sort of avant-garde feel where circus, where her Poodles lair is, and
Yeah.
it also doubles as my dressing room. Whole little secret. But there were just all these weird, unique spaces that people were just, when you call them and you say, "Hey, I'm making a movie. Can we use your building?" And they're like, "Heck yeah, come on over." They really do want to be part of it. So I always tell people, if you're making an indie film, don't be afraid to ask. Don't, if they ask for money and things like that, then you can talk about that. But most people really want to be part of a film. They want to be part of that process. They want to see what that's like.
I don't have to tell both of you this, but we're at a time right now where there's a lot of anti-LGBTQ sentiment. There's a lot of anti-drag sentiment. So that's why seeing a film like this that's just so joyous and fun. I mean, but what is it? What does it feel like having a film like this in the midst of all the other controversy and chaos that's going on in various places around the country?
It's important.
Yeah.
It's important to have something like this. I come from a little bit of a unique perspective because I'm part of the community, but I'm not. I mean, I guess I would be the plus in the LGBTQ plus.
Okay.
I'm very much immersed in the community, but I identify as straight. If I could ever get a date, that'd be great. But to show this, and I know I'm sure Eric will talk a little bit further about this. When we were filming it, it was when
Oh, we lost her.
Oh
Hopefully
no.
she'll come back. She'll come back in, but I know where she was going with that. We got SB 1438, which was our anti-drag law that went into effect. That was in effect while we were filming. It was all that was coming, and then our house, the legal license or their liquor license, and the ticketing of all that, and the drag shows with Murray and Peter, and all that was kind of going down. It's okay. It's okay. I'm picking it up because I knew you were going with this, but I was just
good. Because I was like, where'd I go?
welcome back. Um, that was all happening. Susie and I didn't even know if we were going to get, like, could we be on our own red carpet outside of the theater in drag to take pictures with people and celebrate our film, because the language was so ambiguous about what was constituting a performance, what was and it all came down to prosthetic breasts, and what was this and that, and people, well, I could ticket this and I could ticket, and it was a misdemeanor. It was $1,000 ticket that you would get, and so we were just really kind of scared. But when it came down to it, the guys who run Popcorn Frights were, they just said, screw them. We don't give a shit. Show up as you, and that really gave us a backbone where we felt supported. And, if they're going to take one of us, they're going to take all of us. That was the mentality. And thankfully it got overturned, but it was a really weird time to be a full-time drag queen in Florida. And Jen knows, because we performed so often together, that it was weird to have, like, the sound turn off outside. We didn't work Pride that year. We both of us did not get booked that year. We lost every single Pride in the state of Florida, from Key West to Fort Lauderdale to up on the West Coast and St. we didn't work any of those prides in our own state because of this law and its ambiguity. So to have a film like this where somebody like Jennifer, who is a critical, powerful ally, and to have queer identifying people in leading roles
Mhm.
was could not have been more perfectly timed, but it was so important because it helped me. I don't want to speak for Jen, but it helped me get through it emotionally. I had something to do, and I get to promote this wonderful film, even if I couldn't work to the fullest extent out in my own state.
Exactly. Okay, in closing, I know that this film has been very successful at festivals over the last year, and congratulations. And I think that you're kind of near, but and I'm really, really happy that I don't think could sneak in a screening as you're winding down. Let's sort of talk about the last year and screening it and what the future plans are for Big Easy Queens.
Well, for the screening, like I've been lucky to go to a lot of the screenings. After our premiere, of course, which was here locally, I was able to go screen it in San Francisco, Palm Springs, Tampa, as I mentioned, and Detroit. And so that's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And then I'm kind of on the outside when it comes to like where we are in the process and where it's going from here. Of course, I'm very much looking forward to becoming a true gay icon. Um, just kidding, just
You
kidding. I
already
already
are.
am.
Already
Um,
are.
but Eric knows more about where we're going, and I'm very excited to see where this film takes us, and so excited that you're screening at your festival. That's really another another exciting thing. Of course, there's the awards and accolades where Eric Swanson won Best Actor in a Feature Film at the Berlin Independent Film Festival.
Nice.
And I was lucky enough to be nominated or to be awarded Best Actress in a Feature Film at the Hong Kong Film Festival. So I'm planning my domination of Asia right now.
Yes. She's huge in Hong Kong and I'm big in Berlin. That's it.
That.
Uh, what's next? We don't know. We hope it has a theatrical run of some sort, but it's going to take the right distribution. And of course, those conversations all happen once you come off the film festival circuit. But I really hope it gets to the streaming platforms by Pride. If not by Pride of next year, then certainly maybe Halloween, just because it suits both seasons. But we'll see. We're waiting. We just submitted for the Spirit Awards, which are popular for indie films. And so we're crossing our fingers. We've done well, as you said, we're so humbled by it, but we've won in almost every category you can win in different areas, music and makeup and acting and cinematography. So I hope we get one nomination because I really would love to go and let that be our big finale to the journey of this film.
Oh, that would be great and be so appropriate. The film is Big Easy Queens. It screens at Out on Film Saturday, October the 5th at 7 p.m. at Landmark's Midtown Art Cinema. Eric Swanson, Jennifer McClain, thank you so much for sharing this film with us. Thank you so much for talking with us today. And we literally cannot wait for the screening.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you so very much. It was great talking to you.
You
You too.
too. Bye. Bye, Jen.